Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to the first episode on my channel for this year 2024, and I decided that I am going to start with a shorter video, and I am going to give you a few ideas for those of you who want to start fashion businesses in Kenya. I'm going to give you a few ideas of fashion businesses that you could start with the least amount of money. Generally, fashion has a very low barrier to entry because there are very many ways you could start your fashion business, including taking an order, getting a deposit, and then fulfilling the order. Either way, I have done a lot of videos about fashion business in Kenya, what you need, even the registration, all those things. I will link the playlist. The playlist for fashion business is very big. I think there are about 30 videos right now. So if you go through that playlist, I'm sure you're going to find a lot of resources, but I wanted to give you the easiest fashion businesses you could start in Kenya, whether or not you want to make the items yourself or you want to outsource, basically outsource to somebody else to make for you the items you want, or you want to buy from people who already produce and you want to sell them. So stay tuned and let's begin. It will be in slide form just so that you can see the products I'm talking about. So we will start with thrifted clothes. Thrifted clothes are known as mtumba here in Kenya, and they're available in big markets. Of course, there are people who have started selling them in shops as well and online, but they are available in markets where if you want to buy them in a more wholesale price, or unless you are very connected and you can be able to buy the sack that people usually buy before they distribute. It's wise to be able to figure out exactly which type of clothes you want to sell, because you can't be a jack of all trades with thrifted clothes. You need to be known for a specific thing. So if you do women's office wear, maybe that's what you will buy. Baby clothes, maybe that's what you'll buy. Men's clothes, like that. So thrifted clothes are pretty affordable because you can get a good amount of clothes for approximately $10, and you can start off with that and see where it takes you. So thrifted clothes is the first one. The next option is to do custom orders and outsource labor. A lot of people start their fashion brands like this. The beauty of this is that you will be able to gauge first if it's a viable business for you to go full-term in before you completely buy everything like machines and all that. Especially if you don't want to really invest in machinery, then this is the best option for you, where you would get orders from people, even if it's just close family and friends, just to gauge what it is you want to do and gauge how it will be received, and then outsource the labor to maybe a tailor you trust or something like that. You can even have things made for yourself to just see how the workmanship is. So this would be a good way to start. There are people who do this like brokers in a broker, like basically they are brokers to they get orders and then they go get them fulfilled. Sometimes it goes very badly, especially if you don't really know what you're doing and you just want to make money. You can really mess up a lot. So this is done also with artisans. There are people who started their businesses selling interior stuff, interior deco stuff from Sisal and things like that. So it also works for home deco, not just fashion stuff, even jewelry. You could also have specific pieces made. Of course, there's a very big risk of your designs being stolen, so to speak, or reproduced for other people. So you have to really check on that when you're outsourcing labor. The next option would be custom bridal wear. This specific one is unique because I've actually seen some people do this very successfully. There are people who have good links to manufacturers abroad, especially in China, who are very good at making or duplicating bridal wear online, and you can actually get an order, get the deposit from the bride, and then send the deposit to have the gown made to the size of the bride. I hope at least you know how to take good measurements and understand their manufacturing process, and then a dress is made, and at least you don't actually use any of your personal money. but it's a good way to also gauge if you really want to get into bridal business. This is probably the most affordable way to try getting into bridal business without really using your own money, buying equipment, making clothes or anything like that, or even getting into the ready-to-wear space for bridal gowns. So that would be another ideal business to try and figure out how to start. Most brides who did this are the ones who end up starting these businesses because they went through the process, they kind of know what to do. So most of the time, the people who start this kind of businesses are former brides. Another one would be to sell low-priced imports, especially baby wear. The reason I suggest baby wear is because those are a new parent or a parent with a new baby is going to buy baby clothes all the time because they'll grow them very, very fast. Another thing is because no one is really willing to spend a lot of money on baby wear because they wear it for a very short time unless it's for a special occasion. So you might find that if you know how to get the customers who buy a lot of baby clothes, this would be very, very good, especially if they're new. A lot of parents are not willing to spend on second-hand clothes all the time unless it's just necessary. But also for people who buy gifts for newborns, and they don't want to spend so much, but they would like to get a lot of things. Selling baby wear does well. Even online, it does very, very well. So baby wear. For those who are gifted in doing crochet, making clothes and accessories from crochet could be also another way of making fashion items at a low price, because generally all you need is your crochet needle and yarn and you're good to go, unlike making clothes where you need a sewing machine and threads and all sorts of equipment. It's definitely a skill that very few people have, and if you're very, very good at it, then definitely go for it. It could actually be a way to gauge if even the product is something people are interested in, or even if you don't necessarily want to make clothes, you can just make crochet products that you could sell to fund your fashion business. Another popular one is jewelry, especially here in Kenya. The Maasai jewelry is probably the one that's most popular because buying the beads is pretty affordable, in the affordable range. But of course, the skill of how you use the beads to make jewelry is on another level. So you could actually make affordable jewelry. It doesn't have to be jewelry that is worn. It could just be accessories like key holders and things like that. But you could make affordable, trendy accessories, even hair accessories and all sorts of accessories, and try and see from there if it's something worth doing as you wait to start a fashion business, or it will actually grow into a fashion business where you even buy more expensive materials so that you could be able to continue doing your jewelry business. Additionally, if you have skills such as crochet and beading and weaving and any other skill that you do with your hands that you could actually outsource, you can actually do. A lot of designers, especially the ones in bridal, are always looking for people who can do embroidery and beadwork, who, especially if you're very, very good at it and doing very unique and complex patterns. They're usually looking for people like this to outsource that work too, so that they don't have to do every single aspect of making an outfit. So you could actually outsource your skill to other professionals. It could also be a way for you to gauge if it's a service that's really in demand. It could even end up being your fashion business, you never know. Or it could also help you get into a specific niche market that you want to get into. So definitely outsourcing your skills is another way. Another popular business, especially for clothes that people wear once, like bridal or evening gowns, or even everyday clothes if you are supplying a TV show, or generally clothes rental can work if you don't want to spend a lot of money always buying stock, or the stock you have can keep paying you over and over again. So the key is to figure out which market exactly you want to service, because you can't service everybody, and then figure out which kind of clothes you would invest in and then figure out how you would market it so that you'll be able to rent it out. TV shows right now are very popular and they generally don't like to keep the clothes, so clothing rentals would be very, very good. You could even talk to designers or boutique owners who have dead stock and maybe tell them how you'll be able to pay them when the clothes are leased or anything like that. It could be a partnership. I guess it just figures out you don't even have to have the clothes. You could actually just rent them out from boutiques and source for them and then rent them out. So really depends on how you decide to do this. This other one is very, very popular with tailors altering clothes, alteration services. There are some people who are even stationed at thrift markets and their job is just to do alterations on clothes. But you could also do a more premium service, especially for people who buy clothes from boutiques and if they like the outfit but doesn't fit them well. Or you could even make it into a business where you just alter what people already have in their wardrobes and make it have a completely new look. This one, it's definitely less risky. It also makes you figure out what people really like to wear, but the main investment will probably be having a machine with you so that you could be able to alter the clothes and all that. So personally, here in Kenya, a lot of tailors already do this as part of their service outside of making clothes from scratch. It's not something everybody likes because sometimes the work is more than usual, but it could be a way to start a business as well that uses very little capital. For the 10th one, definitely there are people who are very gifted in having an eye for style. So you could be a personal shopper or a stylist or both. There are people who really struggle making themselves look well put together. Maybe they have ideas of what they like, but they don't know how to put it well together, or they don't know how to choose things that would fit them well. So you could actually be a personal shopper. There are people who actually are very successful at doing this, especially for people who are very, very busy and have a very busy life. TV personalities really like this. Basically, even musicians, a lot of people who are in the limelight a lot would hire services from a personal shopper or a stylist because they tend to need clothes all the time and they don't always have time to shop or to go check. So this is something you could do if you have very good networks within those spaces, because it's not easy to get. Then definitely give it a shot. Another one would be to have an online shop. It could start on WhatsApp, then it can also be on Instagram, Facebook. It can start on social media basically, and then you in the end you could have a website if it's worth investing in a website. But the point is to sell other people's things. You could sell it on a commission. There are a lot of people who start these businesses and start big and start with websites, and in the end they don't even have traffic to those websites. So you have to really build the website for it to make sense. This is a good way to gauge what really sells online, what people like, the kind of things people order. The beauty is that you don't own the stock, so you can change stock, play around with different suppliers and see what works. So definitely check out online, having an online boutique to sell, but of course be fair to also the people giving you the items. Another unique one is subscription box. This is not something that's really done in Kenya, especially with clothes. I think people do subscription boxes mostly for gifts. You could still do gifts, you could do beauty products, you could do makeup items and all that, because the point is you're paid a monthly fee and then you send items to people and it's a fixed cost per month. And then there are different types of boxes, so people get different types of things depending on the different boxes, and nothing is ever repeated. Everything is always unique. So it's up to you to figure out how you would do a subscription box and how to get people who are willing to pay you a monthly fee. There are people who probably would be willing to pay you a monthly fee because the boxes are very personalized to the person and they trust your taste most of the time. There are some people who pay a flat rate, and then you have an option where people pick things from your catalog and then they put it in the box that is within the limit of what they pay per month. So I guess it just depends on how you choose to do it. It needs a lot of trial and error before it really, really works, but it's one of those that would be very fun for people. I think the biggest risk is if someone cancels their subscription, then you lose a customer. So it's just something that you could also figure out. It's also a good way to gauge if the things you're selling are popular with people and if you want to make it into a complete business without the subscription box. So another way to go about it. And lastly, of course, is being a fashion consultant. Maybe you studied fashion and you are very, very good at a specific skill, maybe doing tech packs, and maybe you're good at making patterns, and maybe you're just good at organizing business strategies for people. Whatever it is you studied in fashion, because fashion is very wide, you could be a consultant for someone else's business and then save up money for that in that way. To start your own fashion brand. It also is a very good way to gauge the market and see if you're actually ready to start your business and if it's really worth getting into business or just staying a consultant, because not just because you want to get into business doesn't necessarily mean that it will work, because there are very many aspects of succeeding in the industry outside of just your skill level. It's also your personality, your brand, what you're producing, and everything like that. So yeah, that's it. Those are the 13 business ideas. I hope it's been helpful. So let's conclude. Hopefully you have found that helpful and you will give it a shot and not give up on your dream of being a fashion entrepreneur in Kenya. In the next episode, I am going to talk more about the best-selling items of 2023 in Kenya according to the statistics, and maybe that will also help you gauge what you really want to sell. The other thing is that there are a lot of things that make people not very, very successful in the fashion business, and customer service is one of them. I'm going to touch a bit more on that because I'm going to talk specifically about online, selling online, because most of the time most people start online, whether you're starting on WhatsApp or on Instagram or Facebook or wherever, TikTok. Most people start online because before they get physical spaces. So my video for next week will be best-selling items online, not necessarily physically, because physical experience is usually different. A lot of people sometimes even buy things on impulse, and yeah, it's just a different experience. But online, people actually search for certain items, look for those items and buy them. I'm going to focus specifically on fashion. I know other things sell well online, electronics, phones, baby stuff and all that, but I'm going to talk specifically about fashion items, and I'm not going to necessarily talk about beauty items because those ones also do well online. So basically clothes and accessories. So I hope you're going to join me in that next video. Don't forget to check out the playlist of fashion business. There's so much information I have given over the years. I've really built up that playlist. I think, as I said, approximately 30 videos, including selling online. I have gone more in depth and I've explained the difference between having your own website, selling on e-commerce platforms and all that. So do check it out, and I hope I will see you next time. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Bye.